Are we live?
So, yeah, we're here with Andy Smith.
Sweet.
With our live session. And we just kind of start things off with just some random questions.
Yeah.
So you're Andy Smith. Where do you sell real estate?
Everywhere.
Geographically?
The state of
I
Michigan.
know you're licensed in the
Is
state.
that a trick question? Is that a trick
Yes.
question?
My niche is Holland to Grand Rapids, as close to the highway as possible. My wife and I just moved to Hudsonville, right off the highway.
Oh, really?
So
Nice.
3 minutes, boom, I'm on M6 or 196, and I'm going either way or both ways in a given day. So I was born and raised in Holland, so I was there for 30 years, and then we just moved last year to Hudsonville. So
Nice.
I know the lakeshore like the back of my hand.
Yeah.
And now, I got heavily into investments, and so Grand Rapids kind of blew up over the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
We say investments like investors buying.
Investors, myself, buying
Oh, okay.
properties, commercial
All right.
and real and residential, and so now I'm getting to know Grand Rapids pretty well.
Nice.
How long have you been doing real estate?
So I got my license in 2014,
Okay.
and I kind of have a unique story where I was part-time, but I was never mentally part-time.
Mhm.
So it was always, this is where I'm going to be, and this is where my future is going to take me. My current job, hopefully none of them see this, was kind of a means to an end at that point. So I went to CMU, got a double major in logistics and marketing, then immediately got a job at a software company. Worked my way up the ladder there, but at the end of the day, I spent 10 years there.
Yeah.
Wow.
In my first year in real estate part-time, I matched my income
Wow.
of, at that time, 8 years there.
Part-time.
Part-time.
Wow.
Working nights and weekends. Now, because I didn't take it where I was, are we allowed to swear? On this?
Yeah.
I
We're
swear
live,
a
we're
lot.
keeping it real.
I swear a lot. So I was busting my ass
Yeah.
part-time. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to sell a house here and there. I'm like, no, it's physically part-time, but mentally, I better be producing what a full-time agent's producing, or I'm going to consider myself a failure.
Yeah.
So day one, I went in with that kind of mindset. So, I wanted to make sure I had a website, I had a brand, I had an image.
Yep.
I had, if somebody came to my site, they kind of would think, hey,
He's put
you've
together.
been doing this for 10 years?
Yep.
And not a single one of my clients knew that I had a full-time job, Monday through Friday.
Mhm.
And I'd be there till 7 o'clock at night sometimes. So, what was the question?
That was great.
It was
How
your
long
origin
you been in
story.
real
It was
estate?
kind of your origin story. I mean, that's kind
Yeah,
of
no,
there.
that's cool.
Yeah.
We like to ask how you got into it. 'cause
Yeah, well,
I-
so that was 2014. Sorry to kind of
Yeah.
finish that. So then I spent 3 years part-time. Two full years, and then 2017 in June, bought my house, moved, quit. They, of course, wanted me to stay. And they're like, just one more month. I'm like,
I'm out.
no.
Yeah.
Well, the advice you gave me day one
Which was?
what I should have taken. That's my biggest regret.
Remind me, what was it?
Was because we sat down
Yep.
right away because
Yep.
I was at a different
You were
brokerage, and then we
interviewing,
sat
yep.
down and we kind of vibed. And you say, do you know? Because I'm like, well, I'm gonna quit, but if I wait till this time, then I get a 5,000 bonus. You're like,
Yeah.
just sell one more house.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
gonna wait 6 months to make $5 more grand.
Right.
Well, I had a different mindset of
Yep.
what my time was worth.
Yep.
Because back then, I spent 10 years there, and I left making $55,000.
Yeah.
Thinking,
Yeah.
I went there. I was there
Well,
since college.
$5,000 bonus on a $55,000 income.
That's a lot.
That's like
I
nearing
was like-
10%,
I
right?
was like, Paul, come on.
Yeah, that's a 10%
We got some money
bonus.
coming
Yeah.
soon. I'll wait.
Yeah.
I financially, I've been fortunate enough to be gifted by my family and surroundings of coaching me on how to be fiscally responsible. So I'm like, God, $5,000. I
You
gotta
need
wait.
that, yeah.
Then I'll quit. I'm
Yeah.
still making a decent amount doing it part time, but looking at it now, that kind of time you dump into your business.
Energy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I
So-
left so much money on the table not taking your advice. So that, yeah.
So what has life been like? You officially went full-time in real estate when?
Last June.
Last June.
So just over a
Just
full
over a
year. Yep.
How's that gone?
Amazing.
Yeah.
My life has changed like crazy.
Okay.
So my wife was working at she was a CNA working at I don't know what they call it. I call them old folks homes.
Yeah.
It's a little insensitive.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what else you call them.
so she's like super passionate, and she gives her heart to everything. And I'm kind of like, God, you got to change diapers, and it was dementia unit, so they're mentally sometimes not
diminishing.
Yeah. So they're mean to you sometimes.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
still loves them, and so bless her heart, but that job really kills you. So then when I got into full-time business, fivefold, like almost overnight. So she quit, and now she's home with the girls.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So and now we kind of are living the life where we dictate, what we're going to do, what we're not going to do, and we're fortunate enough to be able to do that, where before it was the career, the job, the company controlled what I could and couldn't do, and now it's all on me.
Right.
And you like that?
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, so before, my grandpa had a painting company, and so he did that his whole life. He worked at GE too, but so I worked with him for a while. Then I went to college, and student painters came around. I don't know if people are familiar with that.
Oh, absolutely. The signs are all over the place.
Yeah, and so my girlfriend at the time was like, "Oh, I just got this cold call from student painters. They're coming in, onto campus. You got to go check it out." So I did, and sure enough, that summer, I managed a crew anywhere from 3 to 7. It fluctuated because you had to hire and fire people. But I produced 50,000 in that 3 months. Wow. I think I pocketed like 15. But I mean, a college student, making 15,000 over the summer.
That's good.
And you're the boss. I didn't even lift a paintbrush.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. And so I've always
your eyes opened.
Yeah, I always kind of had that. I always wanted to work for myself.
Yep.
But then you get trained, getting caught into the niche of I got to go to school, then I'm going to get out, I'm going to take my diploma, and I'm going to sit and I'm going to interview at all these spots, and I'm going to get a job, get a 401k, build up a huge nest egg, retire, and then live off of that.
Right.
I've learned so much in 5 years that it's like, get that mindset out of here.
Yep. So I know this about you. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask what you were giving a full-time mental energy to this. What kind of sales did you have when you first started, and did it switch over like numbers? Yeah, so my first year I did, and so I built a business tracker. This was my CMA or my CRM at first. Yeah. And we'll get into. I don't know if you're gonna ask like what my tips are.
Yeah, we'll talk about this.
Because I'm like, I'll do everything in Excel. This is the way I'm gonna manage and grow my business. No, that's not true. But I still use it. So my first year I did 1.7 million, sold 12 homes. So that was part-time, obviously, not really knowing anything. It was just all my sphere. I'm like, I don't know what to do. Here I'm in real estate. Can I help? Yeah. And then the next year I did 2.7, so a million more, 19 homes. And then last year I did just under 5.6 million, 34 homes. Okay. So this year I'm at, and I think I wrote it down. Oops. So this year I'm at a rolling 12. I'm at just under 9.5 million. Calendar year just over 8 million. Nice. I got about. It's a great year. Just north of $1 million pending right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great year. So I know that you've experimented. You test things. You're curious. You're always. We talk a lot about what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Does this work? Does that work? I'm really curious, and I think that some people watching might be curious, what have you tried that didn't work? What are some of the things that looked really good?
It's so hard because and that was one of the things. So I feel so bad. Every time I'm like, I got an idea, I got it to Paul, and I'm like, you already bugged him too much this year. You gotta let Paul be. You gotta let him be. There's other agents that need his time. Yeah, so I'm a big fan. I'm a big thinker. Yep. And sometimes that's my downfalls. I'm thinking too many things at once, when I need to be focusing on the money-making activities or building relationships. Where I'm like, so-and-so sent me this email to get me to buy their product, and I bit on the free advice to kind of buy in, and I'm like, well, maybe I can implement some of that. And then I'll call you, Paul, what do you think about this? But if it doesn't work out, or it's something that either I tried it and it didn't work, or it's like, I don't really want to do it, boom, it's out. I don't even keep it in my brain. Yeah. So that's the good and the bad with my memory. People will say something like, I don't remember what you're talking about. Okay. But I do that so that I can focus on the things that I'm doing. What do you call that? Like mental bandwidth? Yeah. Where I don't. Yeah. Maybe my short-term memory is not that good. Yeah. But you've tried a lot of things over the years. Yeah. You've done some Zillow stuff. Yes. Do you still? I don't. Okay. I don't. My take on Zillow is it worked. So I met with a ton of agents. You and I spoke about it in length. At the end of the day, people have different ways that they want to run their business, and what works for someone might not work for others.
Yeah.
So I'm taking this advice from people. I'm like, well, maybe I'm not the same as them. Maybe it's different for me. So at the end of the day, I said, hey, I'm just going to try it. 6 months. I'm going to buy in. I know it's not going to be overnight. You have to do a minimum of 6 months to then start getting those leads filtered back. So I did it. It was kind of a pain in my butt, but then it ran into the summer where my personal business just blew up. And so the problem I was facing, at the end of the day, I made money. I spent $5,000 because I partnered with somebody. I spent $5,000, made $25,000.
Okay. Yeah.
Gross. So whatever net would be on something like that. So at the end of the day, it's like, that
worked.
Cool. That if I could hire an employee that's all they did, maybe that would be a business. But for me personally, I felt, well, now, okay, you're going to dump these 20 leads on me. Some of them love me. Oh yeah, Andy, you're great. Let's buy a house. Some of them are like, the hell?
Get away.
What?
Go away.
No, I just wanted this one house. Don't keep calling me.
Yeah.
And so I have pretty thick skin. It doesn't really bother me, that type of stuff. I do door knocking all the time. So people telling me to F off and get off the yard, that's okay. I shrug and laugh and move on. But I felt that I was just wasting too much time tracking down these people that, they're probably serious buyers at some point over the next 12 months, or they wouldn't be giving their contact information. But I just didn't have the time to be making those phone calls, and so I'd much rather have people call me.
Yeah, you'd rather attract versus chase.
Yeah.
So what do you what's your business makeup look like now? How much is it, like how much are almost everything you have coming in referrals? I mean, like,
you're not track that.
You mentioned you do a little door knocking.
Yep.
You do some open house holding.
Yep.
But like, of all the business coming in, you said you got a spreadsheet.
Yeah, oh yeah. So what I do is I track everything of what, at the top I have all my goals so that I can always keep track of, if I'm too far behind, and I have it set to what % goal am I.
Oh, wow.
So I'm 123% closed of my sales of this year.
Okay.
So
you're
behind,
beating your expectations right now.
Yeah. And so I'll have at the top of, okay, we're 83% through the year and I'm 123%. So now my mindset's like, okay, this is the first time I'm dealing with being on this side of it, where now I'm kind of getting a little lax.
Yeah.
Where I need to kind of, whip myself into shape a little bit more. But if we were 83% through the year and I was only at 60% of my goal,
you'd be kicking into high gear right now.
Yeah, definitely. And so, so I'll track all of that, all of my close, all of my under contract cold leads. But then I kick that back over to a different, and it automatically updates this. And I have a bunch of pivot tables set up so that I can immediately track, a ton of different data points. Because that's what I did at this software company. I worked my way up to, before I left, I was in a different job. But the job that I held the longest was collecting all these data points from, it was a logistics company. So in logistics, there's a ton of different data points. And we collected all of that as a software company, and then it was kind of on me to tell a story of, okay, what is this data telling me? Where can we save money or time or this or that? Using data to kind of tell that story and putting together spreadsheets. So I would always, right from the beginning, I was collecting all this data, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to use it yet because I'm not really in real estate. I don't know what stories I'm going to need to tell.
But you knew the data had value.
Yeah, so I collected it.
Okay.
And that's where my CRM was. I collected everybody's data and put it in an Excel spreadsheet.
Do you use a CRM right now?
I do.
What do you use?
LionDesk.
LionDesk.
Yeah. And the bad thing about Excel is you dump it in there, unless you're going through every line weekly, it's just too hard to keep updated.
To manage it.
It took me a full day. Like, I did nothing that day but take my Excel spreadsheet, scrub it, clean it, realizing, I do have their address or I do have their number. Why didn't I update that and put it into LionDesk?
So what does this Excel spreadsheet do that LionDesk doesn't do? Or do you still use Excel and LionDesk?
I use them both, So
what do you use LionDesk for?
So I use LionDesk to tell me when I need to call somebody, why I need to call them, and how, or contact,
day-to-day.
And then how do I contact
Day-to-days.
them. Day-to-days, yep. Because I can track, okay, they're looking at a house, here's their budget, or here I closed the house on this date for this budget, and on the dashboard they have all that stuff. I don't really use it for that.
Okay.
I use it more for, I now have a big enough sphere that I need somebody to tell me who to call and when.
Yeah.
Or else
otherwise, there's too many things to manage.
Yeah.
So you're using Excel then to look at your year.
Yeah.
And your goals for the year. So you have your closed transactions, your hot leads. So you have your lists of people in here.
Yeah.
and then you're tracking those numbers to be like, okay,
Yep.
that's how you track your progress.
Right. Yep. And then I also track by month, by year, so that I can.
And you just create a new tab for 2019, and you can always look back at your previous year.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'll have a new tab for every year, but it's automatically tied back in through formula. So I don't ever have. I just have to go and hit update.
Are you taking orders for this spreadsheet? But can you sell this?
I share this all the time.
Do you?
So, and I just had somebody ask. So I'm a man of checklists, and I brought them. I don't know if you guys want to see them.
Would
so
love to see them.
I have a checklist for everything. I have a buyer transaction checklist. The smallest little thing in there, just to make sure. Okay, you're in the city of Holland. Or a seller checklist. I got to make sure to call the city to get a smoke detector.
Yep.
Just the tiniest little things. And so there's probably 50 things on there just so that I know. And I look through them every single day. So I have a buyer, a seller, a transaction coordinator. I have a post-inspection checklist. I have a checklist for if we're going to show a house or I'm at a listing appointment. I'm not the kind of guy that's, let's sit here and go through this huge contract. Mm-hmm. That's not my business is mainly people that already know me.
Yeah.
So, we did that custom listing presentation.
Yep.
I've used it twice.
Yeah.
It's not. I always bring
it's
it, leave
nice.
it behind.
Set it there.
Yeah, because even if it's someone I know, it kind of adds some legitimacy behind. It's not. Oh, that's Andy's just doing some part-time real estate. It's like no, I'm.
Yeah. This
is an operation I'm building here, and so I still use it like that. But I don't really interview. I think I've interviewed 4 times for a listing. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
I have a question.
I told you I get off track.
So lots of numbers and lots of tracking and a real systematic approach to the real estate. So let's say your goals you were at 63% hitting your goal. What do you do to turn the volume up?
Yeah. So
you said I'll have to whip myself in shape. Yeah. What does that mean? What do you do?
I don't really necessarily change anything I'm doing. I just do it tenfold. Okay. So, for instance, because another thing that I'm learning about my business is it's peaks and valleys, and I'm trying to figure out how can I make it so that it's just going to be steady. So in August, for instance, I think I closed just under $3 million in August. Mm-hmm. About ripped my hair off. Yeah. And then the month following, I'd have to pull it up, but maybe 3 or 4 deals. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I was so burnt out that 2 things happened. I sold a crazy amount, the most I've ever sold in a single month. Mm-hmm. And in real estate, you go from, I'm rich, this is awesome, to,
nothing's coming down the pipe.
My credit card bill is $10,000.
Yep.
But I only sold 2 houses.
Yeah.
And I want to buy these investment properties. That doesn't kind of go along with where I want to take my life and my family. So, and then you start worrying, your heart starts beating.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out how can I level it off. I'd rather sell 5, 5, 5, 5 versus 12, 2, 12, 2, 12, 2.
Okay.
Yeah, but to answer your question, once I find something that works, I implement it. But like door knocking, for instance, I was so busy over the last couple months that I didn't do any door knocking. But in June, when I had some downtime, I sold 2 houses in the neighborhood. I'm like, hey, I'll get some door hangers. I'll just hit the doors. There's only 60 in this neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And made $15,000 off of that.
Nice.
So then that kind of kicks it up. All right, I got 2 more deals under contract. Okay, now I can breathe a little bit, loosen the collar. I'm gonna hit my expenses. And I kind of went all in once I said, hey, this is where I need to go. So let's go. Let's do it. Wow. How do I pour more gas on the fire?
So you have a lot of accountability for yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Where does that come from? Have you always been that way? Have you always been that way?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm very hard on myself.
In college, you grinded hard?
Maybe not so much in college. In college, I'm one of those students that did not have to try very hard to get a B.
Yeah.
I was never an A student, and that was good.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where I'd be studying for a test, and I would sit there. Obviously, we're playing Madden or watching a football game or something. I'd be like, you know what? If I don't know by now, I'm not going to know it tomorrow morning. Well, yeah, let's just have a couple beers and watch this.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. And I soaked in enough knowledge that kind of sneaked by. But I've always been a hard worker, for sure.
What else is on our list here? So you said you have checklists. I want to see those checklists.
Yeah, you want to see some?
Yeah, I want to see some of these while Leo's thinking of the next question here.
Someone was asking they would like to see how the spreadsheet works.
I mean, are you willing to
I share
this?
Yeah, I share it all. So my take on it, can we name drop?
Name drop.
So I was trained by Melinda at my previous broker.
Shout out to Melinda Robeson.
There you go.
I don't know what
What's up?
And
Robeson.
And so we were at a previous brokerage, and then we both actually, I think around the same time, or within a couple weeks, kind of moved over to 5-Star. And she said a couple of things, but one of the big things that stood out to me was, and this is, everybody's business is a little different. You have people that, all right, I'm going to dump 20 grand into Zillow. I don't really care who you are. I don't want to connect with you as a human being. I want to sell you a house. Oh, you don't want to buy a house? All right, see you later. I don't even remember who you were. All right, you want to buy a house? And that works for some people. If you're going to dump a ton of money in, if they buy that first house, cool, maybe you make some money, whatever. That's not the business I wanted to run. And my business organically kind of grew into something that hers already was, like relationship-based. So her advice, because I tell people, don't always take everyone's advice. They might have different motives or different objectives to their business. But I always took her advice more serious than others just because we kind of had similar businesses.
Yep.
So she said, I'm not scared to give you all this knowledge because, you know, coming into real estate, just thinking about the software company I was at, if we were sitting next to another software company, the last thing we're going to do is show like our code and our, you know, our technology under development. It's like, no, because then it's a race to see who gets it. Why would I do that? So I went into real estate with that mindset. And she's like, no, I'll share anything you want to know. She was an open book. And said, oh, these are my tips. These are my tricks. This is how I win in this situation. And I'm always thinking, like, why would she open herself up like that? I'm like, yeah, obviously she signed up to do this training, okay, but still, she's sharing a lot of, like, detailed stuff. And she's like, I'm not scared you're going to take any of my business. People that are going to do business with me are going to do business with me whether you're here or not.
Yeah.
So I took that approach too. So I never did answer your question, but 80% of my business came from agent referrals, circle of influence referrals, or past clients.
Nice.
Since the beginning. So it's, and I actually just shared my checklist the other day. Somebody reached out, like, yeah, I went on the Facebook group and typed in checklist. You're the only one that popped up. Do you have it? And I'm like, yeah, send me what you got so I can see, because I'm always making it better.
Yeah.
But so here are the current deals that I'm working on. And so I'll take notes. So that's a seller. And I'll take notes on it. And if I highlight it with pink, that means, hey, change this. It's not good. You went through it. And there's some notes.
So you print these off. You don't do this digitally. You like have them in.
Well, I used to do it digitally, and I used to put it in dot loop, and I would have, I'd create each of the little checklists. But I found that I was editing it way too frequent to put it back in and then add all of the fields. Yeah. That the way I work, especially in August when I had 12 of these sheets,
you gotta see it.
Yeah, like my morning ritual. I think that was one of the questions is, get in my office. And every single day I'll go through this. Okay. Whether I need to do anything or not, I'll say, okay, here's Jeff. All right, what are we doing? Okay, we're waiting on, I need to make sure that this title work gets sent to him. We're closing. Okay, Rick, the appraisal, he went in, and here's his info. And
this is good.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's all the little things. And I missed, I'm human. So I was born and raised in Holland. I know if you sell a house, you have to get a smoke cert. But I was focused on Grand Rapids for like 6 months. And then I went back to Holland. Sold one there. Totally forgot the week of closing. I'm like, oh no. Well, I've built friendships with those inspectors. Yeah. It's like, is there any way you can get out there today? I'm so sorry. I totally forgot. I feel the title company that I partnered with, they're like, they blamed it on themselves. I'm like, no, that was me. Like, I'll tell you, that was my fault. But so then I added it in here a little bit more specific. Okay, order inspections. Is it home? Is it pest? Is it well and septic? Is it smoke detector? Stuff like that. So then that was when I added those little check boxes.
Nice. It's detailed, man.
And then
You've got coordinate key handoff. I mean, ring closing packet. I mean, you got it all on here. This is great.
Yeah, and then I did it by, so pre-list is all, like, did I interview? Did we go through the process? Did I set up for buyers? Did I set up an MLS search? Did I create a loop for sellers? Did I go over my marketing strategy? That kind of stuff. Then it goes docs, like what are the required. Now in dot loop, the only negative I have with dot loop is you can have those pre-built templates, but only the broker can do it. Dot loop support's sick of me right now because I came from a software background where you would find bugs or you would find improvements, you kick it over to the developer, and say, hey, can you scrum this out and see if you can put this in a patch or something? So I'm speaking their language, and they're kind of like, what?
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of a good idea. Like, we'll pass it over, but probably not.
Okay, so dot loop's a little limited in this area, but this is good, man.
Because I would love to be able to say I want Andy's buyer checklist, and then because I have certain folders, I have certain things the way I want it set up. That I'm quick to do it myself, but it'd be nice just to hit one button.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of simplifying things.
Anything you can automate it and make it save yourself time.
Yep. And that's how I kind of worked up the ranks at my old company, was I would find better ways of doing things that either cut the time or the workload in half. But the problem there is, okay, you got Joe over here, he takes 8 hours to do this task. Well, Andy found a way to do it in 2 hours using, an Excel formula or whatever. Well, okay, Andy did that in 2 hours. Ideally, I should be able to go play ping pong. It was one of those companies. They had ping pong table and this and that. And which was great when I first started. Everyone did it. Yeah. But then when I kind of worked up the ranks where I was a little bit higher in seniority, I'm in meetings with VPs and stuff like that. Well, they'll look at me playing ping pong. It's not cool if the VP sees you, but if you're at the bottom and your low-level manager sees you, they'll play with you.
Yeah.
Hey, I got next game.
Yeah.
So I saw a little shift there. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. The people going out smoking, does that mean now I get 30 minutes off the day because they were smoking for 30 minutes today?
Right.
It didn't make sense. I'm not getting rewarded. I'm getting penalized. All right. Okay, you found a way to cut off 6 hours. Now fill that 6 hours.
Yeah, keep working. Right. Yeah, interesting.
Which is when you work for yourself, if something that took 6 hours now takes 2, I either take that time off with my family, or if I choose, I can say, well, I'm going to find another shortcut that I can use to make my process even better.
I love that way of thinking, man.
Yeah.
Well,
I always came from that's a lazy way. You're lazy. Like with showing time. Yeah. Oh, I don't want showing time. That's lazy. You're not. I want to talk to them. And so I had an old lady. You can kind of tell the older agents who are stuck in their ways, and I've been looked at. Oh, you're just a young agent. You don't know what you're doing. Yeah. You're lazy. But they would say, no, I don't want to use that because I want to be able to connect with the buyers. I go, let me tell you this story. I had a showing where 40 people went through. Mm-hmm. There's no way I'm going to have 40, even if I collected all their information, got all their stories, wrote it all down. The market was moving too quick this summer. Mm-hmm. So say you get an offer from one of them. You don't have time to call and connect with 40 people. But I just clicked a button, clicked all highest and best, tomorrow by noon, boom.
Done.
4 or 5 offers out of it, raise the price another 10 grand.
No, I'm with you there. I remember back in the day we had a showing binder in our office, and it was like all my showings, I tracked every single showing.
Yeah.
Follow up, I'm following up by hand, manually. Mm-hmm. No, I think that's great. So Andy, I'm going to ask you real quick here.
Here's 3 more.
Am I allowed to look at these? I know that agents are going to be like, dude, I want to see his checklists.
Yeah.
And you're cool with us sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Some of it's pretty detailed, like, hey, put the Andy Smith Group keychain on.
Yeah, you guys can feel free to pay Andy Smith keychains on.
Yeah, hey, I'll pay for them too. You want them.
This is great. So this is listing prep, post home inspection checklist, new client questionnaire. You got seller checklist, buyer checklist.
And all of these stemmed from a problem I had.
Yeah.
You come up with or you get hit with a problem, whether it's big or little, and then you got to come up with a solution. So like this pre-listing, so I have it on one sheet just to keep it simple, whether you're listing a house or buying a house. These are the high-level things that we have to talk about in detail because there's some sort of strategy behind it, or like possession.
Yep.
I actually you get blamed for a lot of things in real estate that because someone else forgot. Remember we talked about possession? We talked about it for a real long time.
Oh, yeah.
But then all of a sudden you're sitting at closing wondering where the key is.
Uh-huh.
And then you just have to eat it.
And you're like, oh, crap.
Remember the washer and dryer? Remember we said you didn't want to list it. We didn't advertise it was for sale. But the buyer said, hey, I'll give you this if you give me the washer and dryer. We talked about it and you said yes. Mm-hmm. But then they moved in and there's no washer and dryer. Now you blame me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you that story, but that...
Do you share this with your clients when that comes up? Do they see your checklist? Like,
oh yeah, we're at the table. They don't see these.
These ones here are ones that your clients
are
kind of involved in here.
Yep.
And these are just to keep yourself organized. Yeah. This is to help them go, here's the key things we talked about.
Yep.
So it's on paper here.
Yeah.
We discussed it.
These were developed through time because I'll get to a point where I'm like, oh shit, I totally dropped the ball. forgot this one thing. And so I write down to the, even to on buyers where did I send them their gift card to Art Van?
Right. The beautiful thing about these checklists here that you're involving your clients in is that even though you're like, yeah, remember we talked about that washer and dryer and that's why it's not in the house, they're still not really happy with you because they got it in the house and they're like, but it's gone. And you're like, well, remember we talked about it.
Right.
You're not really a good guy at that moment. But this is like, okay, everyone's in the clear. It's always on paper. It's in front of them. There's no questions.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
I love that because even if you're right, it doesn't always mean that you win.
Yeah. No, you rarely ever win.
Yeah. Being right doesn't equal winning.
I spent $800 to keep a client that, we'll say the relationship went so bad I deleted them off Facebook, off my CRM.
It was one of those things.
It was one of those things where it's, I don't want to do business with you,
yeah,
or anybody because you showed zero respect for me, and I'm all about just be kind to people, treat them with respect, and if you're not going to treat me with that respect, why would I do business? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna make 10 grand off you. I'm not gonna morally. I can't get behind that. So, but so they were yelling at me, even though it was their fault, and I had to spend $800 to keep them from getting sued. You know how bad I wanted them to get sued.
So I have a question. So if there's an agent out there that sees like this stuff, or they're just starting out, would you give them any kind of advice, like starter advice, or I wish I was as organized as you. How would you start, or?
Yeah, so I'm very organized, and that comes back to my childhood. So I grew up with OCD, where it was bad when I was a kid. I got to touch the door 4 times before I leave. That if you're something you'd see on, what was that MTV show or
one of those
True Life? How you got OCD? Yeah. It was bad. Where you're always counting in 4s.
Yep.
And then I hit a point where God, I'm not letting that control. I'm going to be mentally strong. So I'm not like that anymore, but I still am very detailed to, all right, I'm going to put my shoes in a certain way in my closet, but I apply that, it's not just in my closet, it's in my business, it's in my personal life, it's everywhere. So I think that's a mindset. That's one of those things where you either have it or you don't, I guess, because you can force yourself to all right, I'm going to be super organized, but at the end of the day, if you're not passionate about that, you're slowly going to get out of it. Yeah,
you're not going to, I totally agree with that. Like, if organization is not a strength of yours, you're likely it's going to be very difficult for you to get really good at it.
Yeah, I think so.
But for a new agent, so I wrote down some stuff.
Okay.
CRM, huge. I wish I had that right from the beginning, and I probably would have gotten another 4 or 5 deals if I had it in the beginning because I had less people, so I could have talked to them way more frequently.
To touch on the CRM, you would use the CRM for 1, your database, basically. Here's everybody.
Yeah.
And then 2, this is a reminder thing for me. It's like make a phone call, send an email, put a text out there, send them a Facebook message, whatever.
So I have a couple different ways that I use the CRM, and now you guys kicked over the free one, where it's like, dang, my claws are so deep into the one I have now, but I'm like, there still might be some benefits. So I'm toying with some stuff there because they have an open house app that automatically comes in, and then you can set up certain automated messages. So I'm like, well, maybe I can use it for that business.
Sure.
Because I look at my personal CRM of I'm only going to put you in there if you're serious. I'm not as some people say, oh, my CRM has 30,000 people and I just throw everyone in there. No, I think mine has 200 people in it, and they've supported my
valuable
business.
People.
Yeah, but it's people that I know. Because I don't have time to be calling somebody 10 times to tell me a year from now they bought with another agent. I don't have time to be tracking people down like that. So I have to know with some level of, obviously not every prospect is going to be super serious, and you have to win them over and stuff like that. So the 20% of my business that are people that don't even know who I am, I nurture those a little bit differently. But with the CRM, I'll link it back to like Facebook lead ads. So when those come in, I tie it in, and then they get sent a certain list of text messages and emails. So that I did the same thing with Zillow. The Zillow guy called me every 6 months, and I'm honest. The one thing about me, you can get my honesty whether you like it or not. And I told the guy, I said, hey, I can't afford you now. Maybe I'll try it. I don't know. I'm new. I don't know what I don't know. But I go, I'm not going to buy now. Call me every 6. I go, call me in 6 months. You call me every 6 months. Finally, I'm like, dude, let's do it. Because I spent the time so that one of my things that I pride myself in is speed to lead. I'll get back to somebody anywhere from 5 seconds to 4 minutes. Every time.
Yeah.
Every
no hesitation.
time. Now, that's also my downfall. So I Dustin and I went out to lunch. This is a while ago now. I said, dude, you gotta prioritize your family life and figure that out. While my wife, while we were at the hospital giving birth to Brianna, she was giving birth to Brianna, I locked down a new listing and sold the house.
Yeah.
Right there in the delivery room.
Oh, wow.
Some people are like, oh, that's dedication, dude. That's awesome. Other people are like, you horrible husband.
Yeah, right.
Now, Nicole and I, we have that relationship.
Yeah.
She was totally cool with it, laughed. And, she's super appreciative to be working, or not working and being home with the girls. So she understands. But, yeah, that's advice I'm still kind of figuring out. How does that apply? And that leads into why I do most of my business at night.
Oh, yeah, you said that.
Yeah, so I'll sleep in till 8:30, sometimes 9:30. Where most people are like, are you kidding me? I don't touch any work before 10 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang out because the whole family's home. So I wake up. I usually wait. We kind of have the process where Nicole's up with Bree, and then at 9 she goes and gets Allie, and then Allie comes and wakes me up.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what we do.
It's awesome.
And then we make breakfast, kind of hang out, watch TV, play, whatever. And then at 10, sometimes even 11, then I'll go check my emails. Now, if it's something urgent, I'm all over it.
Right.
If I got to wake up super early to go do something, or I'm in the middle of negotiations. But if it's just some normal day where it's like, okay, today, I want to touch base with 20 people. Well, I'm going to do that after 11. Because nobody says I have to do it before.
Right.
But the people are like, oh, you're lazy. Well, it's not uncommon for me to work till 1 a.m. I do a lot at night.
Okay.
Because then everyone goes to bed. And then I put my blue blockers on, and I sit in front of my computer, and I just crank away.
Yep. That's awesome. I really like that, actually. That's cool.
Because, how many appointments are you actually going to? Most people are at work.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk.
They're getting to the office. They're getting their day going.
Yeah. So why, unless you're a morning person, and that's your time to kind of go through emails and texts and that, this and that, but that's what I do at night.
It works for you and your family. Yeah. That's ideal.
And then I have something through Gmail, because I what was it, a podcast or something, like you can't let your clients dictate your hours. Too many people got used to me working too late. And then they're up too at midnight. I'm watching Netflix at midnight. I'm going to text Andy. He'll get right back to me. And I would. I'll be sitting there watching probably the same show. Texting him back. And so then I used, I forget, through Gmail, it's free, but you can type out the message, because my memory, if I don't do it instantly, I'll forget, and sometimes other things will pile on and I'll never get to it. So I'll type everything out and say send at 7:30 in the morning.
Schedules it.
Schedules it.
Boy, he's up at the crack of dawn. Write me an email.
I'm out cold. Yeah, they don't know.
I love it.
I think our last question, and thank you for your time. This is we could go for hours. You're really interesting. Jason Shearinga asked, where do you see your business in 5 years, and do you set annual goals or quarterly goals?
Yeah, so this is the year, because this is technically my first full year in real estate, that I'm trying to figure out, okay, I can't keep growing at this pace. Like, that'd be kind of crazy. Yeah, it'd be cool. That's obviously my goal, but I'm realistic that I know I'm going to get to a point where it's going to level off, and that's kind of going to be where my business settles. So I do yearly goals. I haven't done them yet for next year, because I try to analyze, okay, what did I do this past year? How hard did I work? Were there areas of improvement, this and that? And then roll that into what should I do and be realistic next year. In the next 5 years, I'm really tailoring my business to be one where you build enough personal relationships that they just feed you the business. And so I took some advice from Mike on Dustin, who do a lot of client appreciation events. So I'm starting to do that now, where I'm dumping my money where it's giving it back. And that's where I tracked, okay, 80% of the people, or my income is coming from people I already know. Well, 80% of my marketing budget should go back to them, where it wasn't before.
That.
It was going to Zillow, and it's why am I paying to be chasing all these people down and spending all my time doing that, where at the end of the day, okay, cool, yeah, I made money, but I'll make money over here too. Why don't I make money the fun way?
And bet on the people that are giving you the business.
Yeah. So in the next 5 years, I'm hoping that's kind of where I'm going. We'll see. It's year one, so I don't really have a whole lot to trend from.
Okay.
Because I don't really count my part-time stuff, because everything was at my computer.
Yep.
I didn't go out. I didn't door knock, because by the time I got out, nobody wants to see me. So I didn't do any of that stuff. I prospected a little bit, but it was more, hey, I'm going to spend a lot of my time just going after people I already know. Because they don't care if I email them super late or call them super late. But it's, I'm not out making cold calls or anything like that.
No, that's good.
So,
well, $8 million your first year is good.
$8 million year to date. You're at a rolling 12 of 9.5.
On his first year, yeah.
So you got $1 million in pending. So you're gonna definitely go over 9.5 this year.
Yeah.
You might hit 10. Who knows? Get it to 11. Man, I can have a great December.
Oh, I got a couple things pending right now.
Yeah.
I just wrote this week 3 offers on 3 investment properties.
Nice.
So we'll see if those hit. Yeah, that'll add another
Well,
one.
Andy, thank you.
Yeah, thank
for
you.
your
And
This
next
was fun.
week is going to be Melinda.
Oh, sweet.
So we'll get to hang out with
Sweet.
the Jedi Master.
Yeah.
and everybody who watches this, we owe Andy a big thank you for these checklists
Yes.
we're gonna send
Yeah.
out. So we're gonna get these available to you guys. We appreciate it, Andy.
You bet.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It was great.
See you guys.
Bye.